Well, good morning, fellow creators. As you can see, I'm not currently in the studio. I'm taking a walk for multiple reasons. There's a highway right there, so it might be a little loud. I had to go to the bank. That was a errand I had to run this morning, and as a result, let me take that a little further up. As a result, um, on my way back, I'm like, wait, there's trail access right here. It's kind of gloomy and humid this morning, but I'm like, you know what? I need to start exercising. That's a long time coming. Not jogging, I'm just taking a walk, but one thing one thing at a time. So, I've been having issues with my ankle for the better part of like 6 months. Started on the right side. I got a brace for a while. I thought I twisted it or something. Now the same problem is happening on the left, which I'm starting to think is like a blood flow issue. So I'm like, you know what? I got to get moving. I can't just sit around at my desk all the time. So who knows if this will start a trend or not on Saturday mornings, but replacing some early studio time with just getting out and enjoying the morning. And honestly, I've needed this for way too long. For those unfamiliar, I'm walking on the Three Rivers Heritage Trail here in Pittsburgh. It runs the length of the city and beyond. It's just freaking beautiful. I'm coming down, I'm right next to, of course, right next to the highway, but also edge of the Allegheny River by the marinas, heading towards the point. Once I don't know how long I'm going to walk this morning. I think it's like another 2 or 3 miles to the point, but yeah, we'll see. If I can manage to get into a routine, I might start biking this. I've been meaning to start biking again at some point. But the real goal right now is for me to just walk until my ankle starts feeling better this morning. It was really stiff when I got up. I don't know if that's an issue with the humidity or what, but yeah, I'm just gonna walk until I start feeling better and then walk back. And this side's highway and graffiti. And railroad tracks. So yeah, I have a really cool painting that I'm working on. You guys have seen my Instagram as a remake of a really old painting that I did. But yeah, once again, I just really need the exercise this morning, so here I am. So I'm kind of at the point in the trail where I would normally park, because I parked way further up. My ankle's feeling marginally better. I don't know if it's going to actually make a huge difference, but at this point, I do think I want to head back. Just because I'm really itching to paint this morning. Back to the lot. That's as good as I'm going to get today for a 45-minute walk. Okay, painting time.
Okay, back in the studio to actually get started working today. I feel like my ankle might have gotten worse by walking on it, so I put the funny brace on. We'll see what happens today. I don't know. Anyway, happy we're working on new painting, which is sort of an old painting. So back in June of 2013, I made this. It was based on some work that I had done 2-3 years prior. I was like, hey, I'm going to do this on maybe on wood, play with some other techniques and things like that. And what's fun about revisiting a piece 10 years later, in this case 11 years later, is that you look at it and go, while I really like this still, I can do way better than this. So, when I finish the one I'm working on, the sort of the updated version, this is going to get sanded down and sliced up and destroyed, essentially. So, get your last good looks of it. But, at the same time, because I'm essentially working with the same... Thank you. Working with the same concept and design with some updated techniques like this lovely bubbly texture I have going on here, which I think I was trying to do with the original, it just didn't quite work. I'm playing around a little bit more with the composition too. So initially it was just essentially 1, maybe 2 colors plus the black. It's got to be 2 because that magenta is bluer. But I was like, all right, let's play a little bit more with the composition as a whole. So what I've done, let me get the camera a little closer here. What I've done is taken the quinacridone magenta, which is sort of the main color I was using for the piece originally. To tone that back a little bit, I grabbed some cobalt turquoise, which I didn't have on my palette at the time, and I really love how that kicked that back and made it so much bluer. And I think as a result, what I want to do is give this more of a standard composition to a lot more of my regular work. So it is still going to be mostly sort of that black silhouette, but I want to pull that up over top of some underlying blues and greens like this. So I'm going to take some of this, mix it with the, play with the purples with that, but mostly trying to lean towards the turquoise. I've built out a little bit more of a landscape through in a river here. I'll create a lighter area so I can put my regular figures in, as well as putting in the big swirly guys, to which I think my mom at some point referred to them as giant sperm. Okay, Mom, I don't know where your head's at.
What kind of mindset would you have to be in? Yeah, to me it looks like a giant sperm.
But yeah, so I'm kind of just playing a little bit. I started another piece last week. This one, I actually recorded a piece of this vlog intentionally last week, and then something happened with the video file and it got corrupted or something. So I'm also working on this one, another similar Zelda-inspired piece, but this has a little bit more of a complex design, and I'm kind of holding off because I'm at this point just trying to free my mind up a little bit and do something a little less technical in that sense. So at least if I can go through and paint this today, which is being a slightly more simple design, I should be able to get through this entire piece this morning. So that's cool. So in working on this, this just struck me as really, really funny. I'm still covering up most of the darks here. I'm about to switch to something that isn't my liner brush because I do need a different. When you have this many brushes, you lose them after a while. It's probably not as. There it is. That's the brush I'm looking for. Anyway, the joke here. As I'm working on this, I'm like, this bluish purple color scheme, this looks really cool. I really love how this is looking, and while that is still true, as I've been working, I'm like, why does this look so damn familiar? I don't know, something about this color scheme, just the way, like the blue with the, what am I thinking of? And then it hit me, oh, it's the fucking bisexual pride flag. And I'm like, wow, okay. Totally unintentional. But now that it is that obvious, I'm like, next month is June. So, might have to put this one in the gallery a little sooner than I otherwise would have. But then again, the last time I did a piece that I was, oh yeah, Pride Month is coming up, I should put this funny rainbow piece in. It did not sell, and I ended up giving it away at some point, because I'm like, just take it. So, the unintentional bisexual painting, apparently. I guess somebody will like it, somebody will make that connection, I'm sure. So I figured I'd have to at least point it out, because yes, I did notice it too. Alright, I'm gonna get back to work. Okay, so I'm actually really close to being done with this. It's been like an hour and a half since I got started on it or something like that. What I'm going to do once, I got to wait till certain things dry before I do anything else. Most notably a couple of thicker areas with the black in here. I want to make sure that layer is really dry. Did manage to sneak a couple figures in there as well. Barely noticeable, which is, I think, really good because it blends in real well. A lot of where the more aqua blues are here, I actually want to grab some of my secret weapon shadow color, the smalt hue, and pull that in so it'll blend in with the black more, so it doesn't look like just big, well, big grass, but big grass that has more of a base to it. So right now it's just kind of sitting on top of that layer, and this will kind of blend those lower areas down a lot more, especially where it gets larger, specifically right here and right here. After that, I should be able to mix up a nice pink and sign my name, and that'll be that. So this feels good. This feels like a good update to the old piece in multiple ways. I would say personally, most notably is that bubbly cell-like resist, because I did that with acrylics and rubbing alcohol. It gives that nice bubbliness to it. I really love that effect, and I think it worked quite well for this particular piece. More interesting as well, seeing, because I've done a few pieces again. Like I kind of have this rule, like don't do the same painting twice. But every now and then, usually I'd say 3 or 4 years, I will take an old one. I'm like, I think I can do better on this one, and I think I'm more confident now, essentially recycling this painting and making this one sort of the new true one that this one was trying to be originally. I think the addition of the river and everything else just really adds an extra bit of cool finesse to the whole thing, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. So, woo! I have a painting done. And one that I'm actually excited about. It's been way too long since I've been excited when I finished a painting. So, I'm going to go ahead and clean my brushes, and then show you some other really cool thing that I've got going on. Okay, so back in February, I started this oil project on a piece of wood, real thick knife work, and it took the better part of 2 months to dry because it's thick oil paint on wood, which is not super absorbent. So the goal here, you can see some lines drawn out, is this is the base for a couple of new splatter pieces. Obviously, last year's Splatter Worlds project being, and show being what it was and how enjoyable that was. And I'm like, I want to do a couple more based on the technique I used out of one of them, which was the thick oil paint with the splatter. What I didn't account for was all of the greens drying in about 3 weeks, and then this strip of this orange taking just months to even dry. I've since clear coated it with acrylic. The underlying oil, right where it hits the wood, is still moist, so to speak. So what worries me a little is I'm going to cut these down today, but I'm a little worried that when I do that, it might rip the paint. So I'm hoping that is minimal. On the off chance that it does happen, then I will have to slather some more oil on top of it and probably wait another 2 months. But fingers crossed I don't have that problem. And I also want to get something down on top of this so I'm not putting my foot directly on the canvas, because that would be bad, or the canvas, the wood. Looks like that mostly worked. Probably should not be in socks when there's sawdust here. Ooh, but okay, nope. Nope. Running into a slight problem with this surface. The sawdust has hit the surface, but it looks like part of this right here where the saw glided across ripped that paint up. This is okay though. Yeah, that's not bad. So I have to not drag that saw itself across that surface. Let me get some air here. So it shouldn't be a major issue as long as, yeah, I I ripped a little paint off right here. As long as the splatter I do covers that, it shouldn't be an issue. And on the off chance that it doesn't, you know, just a couple of touch-ups. But yeah, that worked actually a lot better than I was expecting it to. I need to put slippers on. This is not a good idea to be out here in socks. In thinking about it, I could probably tape a piece of paper down to it, which would solve the problem, but I think as long as I kind of just hover with the saw a little bit, we should be okay. The goal with them, unlike the other one I did was horizontal like that, all of these are going to be vertical. Whether that be all vertical in the same direction or what, I don't know. But, yeah, so they're cut down now. That was the goal. I could splatter these today, but being so humid this weekend, that's just a bad idea. It'll take too long to dry. This is also a huge weight off my shoulder because this giant board has been sitting in my corner for 2 months. And I keep kind of moving it and sliding it around. I'm like, what the hell do I do with this thing? Now that it's cut up, I can sand down those edges and get myself back into the studio to prep those for a project. Or the projects that they will become, rather. Well, that takes care of that. I'm not going to sand those down right this second because I want to finish this painting. So, a little bit of this blue, spreading that around, and a signature. I can call this one done. Well, that is more than a success, I'd say, for today. Very productive morning. Bank, exercise, which is something I've definitely been needing, and a completed painting. I'd say that's not only a successful morning, but a successful vlog. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Weird. It's the bisexual painting. That's what I mean. Like somebody during Pride Month probably will buy it, right? If not for the reason that it is a really cool painting, they might buy it. Like, hey, look, colors. You know, got to think about your demographic, and because of where the gallery sits, that's a very specific thing in that area. So, yeah. In the back of this. So if you guys enjoyed this this vlog, go ahead and hit the like button. Get subscribed if you're not already. If you enjoyed watching me paint and do stuff like this, be sure to stick around for more. Really having a good time painting today. It's been far too long since I've been in this good of a mood in the studio. But hey, I guess that's what happens when you find paintings you really want to work on. And this one, well, this was part of a necessity too. Like this has been sitting in my corner staring at me being like, hey, you got to paint over this and cut this down and do whatever you're going to do to it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. And then something this week I was like, yeah, this one right now. Probably because I'm also procrastinating this piece. But yeah, you know, one thing after another. I'm pretty excited to post this one up online. Actually, that'll probably be up next week's newsletter. Will probably be the first time most people see this. Outside of, I have this rule about not posting finished art on Instagram, but I might have to with this one just because it is very different and unique, and my Instagram has been needing a different and unique thing on it that isn't a reel of just me standing in my kitchen talking. So, but if you like hearing me rant about stuff, also follow my Instagram. I don't post as often as I should, but this is a fun painting. And it being so much smaller than the original too, I feel like it's going to be easier to hang, easier to, you know, to kind of put out there. And the other thing too, that like I had a bunch of these pieces with these holes in them because this was at the bottom of a pallet back when I worked retail, and everyone always think, oh, look, the holes in them is cool because it's like a recycled piece of wood. And everyone who ever saw one of these paintings, not this one in particular, but all the ones I did on this kind of wood, they said the same thing every time. It was, what's with the holes? I'm like, well, it's just a piece of wood. And they're like, okay, but the holes, and they're really distracting, and the holes, and the holes, and the holes, and the holes, and the holes. I'm like, shut up about the holes! Yeah, I was trying to end this vlog for the better part of a minute. This has been reminding you to keep on creating. And I will see you guys next time.